welcome back to another episode of
And on that note,
just a reminder, I'm Daphne.
I'm Annette.
I'm Georgina.
And I'm Danielle.
And today we just wanted to talk to you on a slightly different note. In honour of Father's Day, we really just wanted to honour and celebrate the men in our lives and the men everywhere.
Yes, for daddy.
I love you, Daddy.
For a change, we just felt like, do you know what? There is a lot of kind of subjects where men do get a bad rap, not necessarily from us, but in general. We just figured, we just want to highlight them really positively. So that's where we're going to start off. So guys, who are the men in your life?
My baby daddy.
Yeah, I think mine as well. I think, obviously, I don't know. I'll celebrate my husband. I'll celebrate my own dad, and I'll celebrate my brothers. But I think most importantly, I'll celebrate my husband just for being, I suppose, everything I really want in a man and everything I'd always But no, honestly, just being everything I've wanted in a man. Like I've seen his growth. I've seen him literally become a boy to a man. Like being a boy, to becoming a man. And I literally don't know what I would do without him, especially now that I'm raising my son. And I know there's so many things that I can't give my son that I see my husband give to him every single day. And yeah, I just appreciate those things. Obviously, this is almost like surface stuff, but I'll that's the man I continuously and I will always celebrate.
Aww. Well, I'm very blessed to have experienced two fathers in my life. So obviously my father and my stepfather. And my husband, of course, who is now a father to our daughter, is a very, very big deal. So I have many great men that have been in my life. And I'm just thankful, just really grateful for all the lessons they've taught me, all the lessons I can now teach my children. And obviously, it's so beautiful to see my husband with my child and to be experiencing that father-daughter relationship and that father in the home, because it's just such a beautiful thing to have every day. And yeah, I just really applaud all the men for really looking after their kids and being in the home and doing what's right, because I know it's not easy. Looking from a woman's perspective, it's not an easy thing, and especially being a stepfather as well, it's not an easy thing from a stepfather's perspective, but for someone to stand in for another man's child is such a blessing, and it's just an amazing, amazing attribute of a person. So yeah, just giving all the kudos to those dudes out there.
Personally, I'll just today celebrate my actual dad. He's dope. In all seriousness, my dad is probably one of the closest people to me. I literally count my dad as a friend. So I think we've gone through our ups and downs, and I know it sounds silly and cliche, but people do say, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." And we've got a really strong, good, positive relationship. And and on that note, I would want to ask you guys, what's the positive impact? I apologize. I was sorry, Danielle. I apologize. Danielle, you celebrating today?
Okay, well, I'm going to celebrate my baby daddy, partner, and my stepdad as well. My dad was kind of involved in my life, but he wasn't there continuously throughout. So, stepdaddy, he's a real OG. And my partner, he's just amazing with our daughter. He's just a whole new person, I think. I think having a baby has matured him in a different way. Not that he wasn't matured, but I just see him on a whole new level. And he's just amazing. I wish I had their bonds. Because when he comes home from work, he's like, Dada! I don't get that. Maybe because I'm with her 24/7, but celebrations to you.
Yeah, definitely.
So, can you pick out any real key things that may have happened during the course of your relationship with the men that you just spoke about that's had a really positive impact on you?
More or less my entire adult life. I've been with my husband for the past 15 years or so.
Jeez.
We've definitely had ups and downs, but in terms of how we've grown and I suppose just what he's added into my life, I think the advice that he gives me, he's my soundboard basically for everything. Every idea I have, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a good day, he gets it all. He sees it all. Like, he sees me when I'm most vulnerable. Everything. He just knows me through and through. But one thing I love, or that I've seen about him, is that his commitment to wanting to make our family be everything that maybe we wanted as kids. So this is one thing I know that we always strive to do together, is that we think about, okay, yes, our parents done what they could do for us as when we were growing up, but there were many elements of what our parents done in marriage, in relationships, or even as a family that we didn't necessarily agree with. And we realized that actually what we want for our child, what the kind of life that we want him to have, we want to make sure that he has the good stuff of what we experience, but then also he doesn't experience maybe, let's say, the not so glamorous of all the negative things that we might have been exposed to, or that we might have seen at a very young age. And I think we strive daily, and he strives daily, to be a man of his word. He's committed not just to me and our marriage, but he's committed to our child as well. And I just see it, and I try to find the words to explain it, but everything he does, he thinks about us first. He doesn't make stupid decisions. He doesn't, even when he's going out, he'll be like, no, I want to spend time with my wife and my child. Like, I'd rather stay at home with them. Just simple things. Or he would do without. He would allow me to go on holiday, and he look after my child, whereas you would usually hear it the opposite side, where the boys are going to do YOLO, and then the girl's at home breastfeeding the baby. Like, I just don't have that. And I hear people's stories where they can't do things, and I just think to myself, I'm so thankful that I've got a secure man, like secure in everything about him, and he's a wonderful, wonderful example to my son. Like, I can't praise him enough.
I
love you, Caramel.
I think George said everything.
That's it.
She's covered it all for the whole world.
Point that you said about like obviously our parents did their best to show us and give us the best, but
she said that
he's doing his best on what he would have wanted, or what he would have wanted to allow. So I agree with that. That was very good for a man to recognize those things and say, okay, I'm going to make those changes. I'm going to push this, or I'm going to say no on this side. So I really like that. He's taking control of the household.
I think there's a lot of pressure being a good man.
Of course,
there is. I think men who feel under pressure are the ones that are striving to be good men. I think the ones that are doing dead stuff, they don't care. That is true. I think they don't care. They don't feel no pressure, or they don't feel the need to kind of fight for their family or fight for their kids. And sometimes it's not even about being with, let's say, if you're in a relationship, it's not about being in, you don't have to be in a relationship
to be a great father.
Exactly.
You don't have to.
Exactly. That's what I believe.
I mean, and I think that's why I'll just commend my dad as well, personally, because I think throughout every situation that I've ever seen him be through, even with my mum, whatever they've gone through, I know that his ultimate goal was to be a good dad to his children. So I think, it's so important when, as a man, if you cannot do anything at all, just, try and be the best man you can be for your children. Because I think they're the ones that will ultimately really feel that impact 100% from their youth till their adulthood. I
respect that, because he's from the older generation, and for him to still have that within him is like major.
It really is amazing.
And I think and I think it's a testament to him as well, because he's been open to learning. So he's not always been just, people grow, and I think he's been open enough to say that, okay, both my sister and I have given him feedback and told him, and he's taken that feedback on to just grow as a father. So I think as a man, where you're able to kind of just say, okay, you know what, I'm not perfect, because no one's perfect at the end of the day, but you're able to say, okay, in the areas where maybe I'm falling short or where I can improve, I'm willing to take that. I think to me that makes a great man.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And I'm just what you said, Daphne, about although maybe things might have happened between your mum and your dad, etc., and he strived to have that relationship with you and your sister. That's so powerful, because there's so many guys or so many men out there where, because they're not with their partner or they're not with the mother of their kids, that they then, because they can't stand the mother of their kids, they therefore neglect the children.
Yeah.
And the kids, as Daphne said, they ultimately suffer from it. But there's nothing should be so big where it jeopardizes your relationship with your kids, or where it gives your child an image of what a father should be, because you're basically shaping their life and you're shaping what they believe a man should do. So even with my own examples, if I think about how my dad is or how my dad was growing up, one thing I know that my dad is a G for is that my dad knows how to throw down some cooking. Like anything in the house, my dad will make a concoction, or he will make one kind of pasta with egg, prawns, spinach, everything. Like, that's one thing I can say, yes. If I'm hungry, my dad, I'll go to the house, Gina, do you want pepper soup? Yes, daddy. Do you want yam? Yes, daddy. All these things, you know what I'm saying? So, but I just like that you said that your dad really tried to build a relationship with you, because yeah, that's so important, especially if you're not together with someone. Just never neglect that. It's never too late to be a good father. Never.
Yeah. It's so true.
Seeing that though, some mothers make it very difficult for the father to be involved, you know, like, because they're still quite bitter that they haven't worked out, they're going to use the child as bait and say, all right, cool, if you're not going to be with me, then you're not going to see your child.
I really just don't understand that.
Yeah, no, because at the end of the day, I feel like you're suffering. You understand?
I do understand it.
I don't think it's right.
I do understand it, because
go to your
Daphne, you say why you understand it, and I'll say why I understand it. Because I do understand it, because I'm not.
No, I understand it. I'm not saying it's right.
I'm not saying it's right.
I'm not saying it's right, but I can see from someone's perspective, because, and it's so easy from the outside looking in. Like, I personally haven't been through it, but I can see how, as a woman, in fact, I've seen somebody go through it. You, as a woman, you're in a relationship with this person, right? You've given your all, you've given your time, and not only that, you sacrifice your body to giving a child. And then that person turns around to say to you that, nah, I'm out.
I don't want this.
Okay,
So
in that situation,
and assuming they've even just said, I want it, forget anything that they've done to you in that process, or the, you know, mental abuse, whatever you've gone through to kind of
you've gone through.
So I get it. I get how somebody can come to that point, and it's not right, but I get how somebody, because for them, I think that what they're doing is all they know how to do.
Yeah.
They don't know any better a lot of the time.
And I think it's when women do that, I think sometimes they think they're protecting their child to not be hurt as well. So the woman's always going to be like, okay, I'm going to care for my child. I don't want my child to be exposed to X, Y, and Z. And then it gets to the point where the mother or whoever is so bitter that they then say, actually, you're not even seeing your child anymore, because they almost use it as a weapon to the man. And again, as Daphne said, it's not right, but I can completely understand. I mean, God forbid if that ever happened to me. I can imagine myself being a bit petty, you know, and it's not even petty. My feelings are hurt. So I can see it.
I understand where you two are coming from, 100%. But what I'm trying to say is, some women, they just do it because maybe the guy doesn't want to be with them, so they use the children. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Their first instance is, okay, I have this weapon. The child is my weapon. His family's not going to see the kid. He's not going to see the kid. They're not even going to know the kid's name. I'm going to change the child's last name. Like, I don't understand
that part I don't get. But do you know what? But back to what we're saying.
I've had a friend that has done that. She's changed the child's last name just because the guy doesn't want a relationship with her anymore, but he loves his child.
Yes, but you have to also understand from a woman's perspective, right? More often than not, when there's a breakup, right, and there's a child involved, there's always that assumption. There's an assumption. This doesn't always happen, but there's an assumption that the child is now going to be with the mother.
Exactly.
And as a mother, sometimes you don't actually really get a say in the matter. It's not really discussed. A lot of the time, if the man leaves, he will leave.
Left with the child.
And the child just default gets left with that mom. Do you know how helpful that is? Of course. Not only have you left me, but you haven't even had the audacity to explain to me, to say, right, this is my bind, but I still want to be able to see if we can, you know, split the responsibilities. More often than not, there's an assumption that you're, as a woman, you'll be like, so you just left us? Because if you only left me, you've left us.
And you left us, and then you've got to take on everything in the household. What about if he's a deadbeat and he's not paying any bills?
Often,
you work, your child goes to nursery. What are you going to do? Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I can understand why a woman would be resentful
Yeah.
in those reasons.
And a lot of the time, they've now become the everything. So they're now the mother, the father, the caregiver, the doctor, you know,
Everything.
the teacher, blah, 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 the disciplinarian. And oftentimes, when the child will see that man, it's always in a good light. Oh, I'm going to
Yeah.
Yes, it's like almost like good cop, bad cop kind of thing.
Yeah. Whereas you take on the burden of responsibility, but we digress. Because
Yeah.
this is a positive episode.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There are those dads that would be like, okay, fair enough. Our relationship didn't work. We have a child. I've got my own place. You've got your own place. I'm sorry for, you know, some things just have to happen. The kid might turn into a suitcase kid, but it might have to happen so that things can work. So 4 days at daddy's house, 3 days at mummy's
Were you
house.
going to say 4
Whatever.
days? I was like,
Do you remember the suitcase kid by Jacqueline Wilson?
Yeah.
No.
You didn't read the suitcase kid?
No, I read some other Jacqueline Wilson books. I don't know the suitcase kid. All
Oh
I know
my
is
God.
Tracy Beaker.
I love the suitcase kid. But
But you
anyway,
know, there are dads that want to make it work and they have a system in place, and there are dads that will do the right thing,
Yes,
even though it doesn't work between the two of them.
exactly.
So kudos to you, daddy.
Like, what do you guys think about, like, we celebrate Mother's Day twice. So some people, they do the absolute most and they celebrate Mother's Day in the UK, and then, you know, America's got their own Mother's Day, and then we do a whole nother Mother's Day again. But what about the daddies? Like,
Daddies get a bad rap.
Is Father's Day the same all around the world?
Yeah.
it's the same.
Oh, wow.
It's the same.
You only got one day. No.
It's only got one day.
I mean, celebrate your dad every day, as often as you can, whilst they're still here, isn't it?
Well, some mothers have 3 days because they also have Father's Day
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
True.
There are
yeah.
some people who actually celebrate their mothers on
On
Father's
Father's
Day
Day.
because the father has been absent in their life.
It's okay. She gets 2 days. It's okay.
I don't know words for that really, but I just think we need to make a big,
More of
a much
deal.
more bigger deal about celebrating men, and not just always the deadbeat, the absent father, the abuser, the cheater. Like, there are good men there. Like, there really are good men around.
And I think we need to make a big statement about that, because not to like bring it down to just black men, but you know, there's a bad opinion or representative about black men. They just believe like, oh, he's probably come from a broken home, or she's probably come from a broken home, and that's why they're acting wayward or whatever. No, that's not always the case. Like, some people can still have their mum and dad there and still behave however they want to behave. You know, it doesn't always have to be someone that's come from a broken home. And it's you got an example for us?
No, I mean, I just know a lot of people that have had mum and dads in the home and they just do whatever they want.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So guys, I've got a question for you. So we've spoken really positively about like the men in our lives, you guys about your partners, some of us about our actual fathers and father figures. So what do you think is that difference? Like, what do you think it is about them that they have either in their mindset or their circumstances that has enabled them to be like the men that they've turned into? Because it's not everyone that is like that, and obviously there's clearly a difference.
I think the people that bring you up, isn't it? I guess like that is kind of, you're taught by example. So maybe they've had that same positive role model whilst they were growing up. So they think, okay, I also should do this, or I'm going to do this but better. Or for some people, it might be, oh, I didn't really have my dad there, so I'm going to be the best dad that I can be. Like, it's either or, to be honest.
I think it starts in the mind, to be honest. I think you need to make up your mind to be a good man.
Yeah.
Because there's so many distractions left, right and centre. You can decide not to be a good man because you've got Becky and Lucy around. Do you know what I'm saying? That can distract you from wanting to spend time with your kids. And you know, there's so many things. And you get some guys where they've got their own biological children, but then they act more fatherly to other kids that don't even belong to them. Do you know what I'm saying? Or they become that role model. I think it's your mindset. So yes, there's a part of how you were raised. You might have seen elements of how you were raised by things that you want to definitely take on to be a father, and some things you thought, nah, I'm never doing that as a dad, because I do the same thing as a mother. But like I said, I think it's all in your mind. You make up your mind to be a good dad. You make up your mind to be a good man. You make up your mind to be there for your child, regardless of what happens in any situation, that you're going to support your child, you're going to protect your child, because your child is the first person that they will, or the first manly figure that they would see in their life in any kind of situation. And you want to make sure that you're that person that they are able to look up to. And if they say, actually, what would my dad do? what would my dad say in this situation? That's the kind of man that you should want to be if you're a good man. But you have to make up your mind to do that.
I mean, to add to that, I think part of the thing that like a lot of good men, whatever that means, a lot of good men have in common is a lot of time they're weighted or rooted to a certain moral or principle. I mean, some of us in this like here may say, okay, they have some sort of faith that they build their like the way they act on. But I also feel like even if they don't have a faith, they have like certain morals and principles that they live by. And I think a lot of the time where a lot of men maybe aren't able to, you know, follow through and kind of do what we might consider the right things because they don't have that root and they're not surrounded by other people that have that rooting or good rooting and like those good morals. And I think a lot of the time good friends, good people around you sometimes not only helps you but it keeps you on the straight and narrow because everybody has distractions, everybody has, but when you've got that friend that says, yo,
bro,
what you doing?
Yeah. So that's why I like the brotherhood that like the guys around us have. Like I love like their bonds, like because they check each other and they're like, you should be doing that or you should be doing that. Well done, kudos to you, or why did you do that? No, let's how we're gonna help you change or do this.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's really important.
So who you're surrounded by makes a big difference, guys.
Yeah.
Not surround yourself by deadbeat guys that will be watching you, maybe cheating, or you smack a girl's bum and they don't say, hey, don't do that in my presence. Yeah, like
go and have a smack as well.
In it, go for it.
So I know you guys have touched on it, just seeing your partners as fathers. I mean, now seeing your children grow up, like, can you speak about, you know, how you're seeing what difference it's going to make in the lives of your children, and maybe if your partners weren't there in the same way they are, how that might not, you know, be manifesting as it is now?
I just feel like there's certain things that dad can teach and there's certain things that only the mum can teach.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Like, I can't be a dad to Kiki as much as I want to be. I don't know how to be a man. So, like, and also, I don't want to say like he's the disciplinarian, but if daddy says sit down there, she's gonna sit down there. But if it's me, she's like, she'll give me the head movement and stuff. But obviously, I know that's because I'm the primary carer. She knows she can push or test limits with me, whereas with him, she knows she can't. So yeah, like in short, there's just certain things I can do as a mum that I can't do as a dad. I can try my best, but I can't. Especially like if we were to have a son one day, I can't teach him how to become a man. Like, you know, I can only teach my daughter how to become the best woman or what I know, and even better than what I am. So yeah, I just feel like mums and dads have different tasks to do in parenthood.
Different roles.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. Who was going to say? No, I was going to say that you just can't be both. As much as you want to, you just can't be both. In the relationship you have with your child is really important as a mother and as a father. So I think that it also takes two to allow both roles to really flourish in the child's life. So I've taken a lot of stepping back in their relationship because I'm the mother. I'm always like, don't do it like this, do it like that, has to be like this, has to do that, da 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 da. Whereas he's just like, gets on with it. And if it works, it works. Yeah, and if it doesn't, he'll find me. You know, it's just like, I just allowed them to have their own relationship, and for him to have that experience in his daughter's life, I think is really important.
So I never want to try to be the man in a relationship. I'm not competing with my husband because I can't. But when I see his relationship or what he does with my child, so we both teach Nathaniel to do things, but one thing I've noticed is that my husband has got, like, I suppose, this level of patience with my son. So I love when I see him teaching him new words or teaching him how to do something, or even when they're just playing. And I remember I used to always hear this whole thing that, oh, a woman can't raise a man. And when I see their relationship together, I just think to myself, there's no way I could do this alone, because their bond, I always say they're best friends. They are so close, although Nathaniel's only 2. When I tell you, he adores his dad to, like, he just literally adores him, and I love their relationship. My husband takes my son to school in the morning. Hey, my husband works. So he takes him to school in the morning, he picks him up from nursery, Like if I want to go out, he'll be like, yeah babe, go out, enjoy yourself, I'll be with Nate. Like he just wants, he loves being with his son, do you know, and he does everything, like he goes out of his way. So for example, my son will be like, if I be like, Nate, don't do this, and then my husband will be like, George, you're not stern on him, you know, you're not stern on him. So as soon as he says it, then Nathaniel will be like, acting like all proper, like still and everything, acting shocked and everything. But then he knows at the same time, although my dad is the one that's going to reprimand me, although my mum does it as well, and he's also my dad that I can still jump on, I can still hug, I can still kiss, and I can still do all of those things with. And we might say he's just a child, and that's what kids do, but no, he knows that his dad loves him, and he knows that his dad is always open to doing different things with him. So his dad will lift him up. So the way how my husband will be throwing Nathaniel up in the air or swinging him around by his leg, like, and that my heart is literally in my mouth, like literally my whole chest is in my mouth. But I know I can't do that with him. But we need to rough him up, otherwise he's just he's gonna act like all timid and shy. Like if it was up to me, he'll just be, yes mummy, no mummy. Like he will be that kind of boy, because I'm just like, hey, please don't break my son's back, or don't break his leg because you're throwing him in the air. But he needs that, and that's one thing that I just know that I can never ever give to my child. I can never show my son how to be a man, how to be a good man. I can never show him how to be a husband, how to treat a wife, how to treat a woman, or how to care for your family. I can never do that. He can only ever see that by looking up to my husband, which thank God he is all of that and more. So yeah.
I was just going to say that, you know, you said basically if your husbands hadn't had done something with the children at home. So for me personally, I'm just learning about what a father really is and what he looks like through my husband, because in my home I didn't grow up with a father. So I had a stepfather, but he came in my life when I was like 14. So I've only experienced him through certain times in my life because he never lived in my home. So it's very different. It's a very different experience and a different almost realm, kind of being in the midst of what a dad actually is and what they do. So I'm learning from my husband, watching him be a father, and just experiencing their relationship and just soaking it all up, because I would never even know or even think of half the things that they do or experience together, because this is all new to me even. So I don't know, that's just how I think about it.
It just makes you think I can't wait to have more Rugrats with you.
It's true. I can wait, caramel.
So on that note, I just want to say thank you all for listening to us, and to all the men out there, happy Father's Day!
And it's never too late to be a good dad, daddies.
Never too late.